Good morning and welcome to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Good morning to you all. Hope I find you well. We need to just have a bit of a discussion about one or two things. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me see if I can get this right. 1 second, please. Just give me a minute. Probably just give me a minute. I'll let you watch that for a few minutes. Let me say slideshow. Okay, so 1 minute, please. Just give me a second. Good morning to you all. I'm just trying to get something ready here. So we got everything, I think. Yeah, we have. Just want to make sure I got everything ready. Then we'll go and hit proper. Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Good morning to you all. I hope I found you well. You're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. We're trying to get one or two things done. We just want to just make us all aware of one or two things, and I hope you can join us and share this broadcast. As ever, we appreciate you for joining us and being part of the program. So, good morning, good morning. I hope you're sharing the broadcast as you're seeing it. What you see on the screen is what was put in. This was put along the coastline, and somebody sent the picture. It was picked up and sent to Yomiko Iki, and I read it on there. And I want to explain what this is about. But before we do, I really want to explain, and we need to understand. And this needs to understand the story. We have to go back to the beginning. We have to go back to the beginning. We have to go back to the very beginning of this colonization, and I tagged the recolonization agenda, and you will, when we start discussing it, you will understand. So, good morning. I hope I found you well. So please do share this broadcast as you're getting it. We're trying to create awareness about what is going on. So good morning to you all. As ever, please subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. We really need your support, and where the numbers are growing, and we can always deal with more people to help us, so that when we do go live, you can have you get the notification. Don't forget to go and hit notification. For those of you that are subscribed already, please, we need you to go ahead, hit subscribe, hit notification button, and then give us a thumbs up. The thumbs up is really, really important. So good morning, good morning, good morning to you all. Grateful for your continued support. I took, it's been a little bit hectic, and to be honest, in terms of health, I've managed to I've had to just rest a little bit. It's a lot going on when you're doing things. But anyway, we are where we are. We will do the best we can. So good morning and welcome to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Now, before I go ahead, I'm going to sing the Yoruba national anthem. Very, very important. In the face of this thing that you see, I'm singing the Yoruba national anthem to make sure we understand. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, fún orílẹ̀ ibi wa, ká gbéga, ká gbéga fáyé rí. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé bá ti bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká jọlá. Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lépa, tẹ̀síwájú fọ́pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde, bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ Gbogbo adúláwọ̀. So, good morning and welcome to Citizen AY. And in conjunction with Oduduwa TV Radio, this program will be streamed live on those platforms. If you haven't subscribed to Citizen AY, please go ahead and do so now. Here's what you need to do before we go ahead. Please hit subscription button, hit notification button. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up. And of course, those of you who are on Oduduwa TV Radio, we thank you very much. Continue to subscribe on there as well. This program is going to be largely in English this morning, but what we want to do is to talk about what is very, very important here. Now, what you see on there is what was shown. This has been put across the coastline from Lagos to Port Harcourt, from what I understand. And this is something that they've been putting in across with the Nigerian flag on it. Now, I want us all to understand that that is a recolonization agenda. This is a recolonization agenda. And I want to discuss at length what that means. Now, basically, let me make this smaller for a second if I can. I'll make it smaller, and I want you to see what that is. Sorry about this. I'll try and do something because I want you to see the words. The words are what I want you to see at this point. See the words because I want you to be. The words are very important. You see, a colonial flag whose mast can be stuck in the land, violating the spirits. Violating the spirits. This is the Fulani colonization agenda, and they are following what the colonials did before. They are doing exactly the same thing. There is no difference. The only thing you will see is that instead of using a flag, they are using bricks. That is, and with the flag on it. It's the same thing. There is no difference in what and I will show you what I mean as we go along. And it is very important that those of you talking about one Nigeria have to understand what this means. Many people don't understand what they are looking at. They just think, oh, it's about Nigeria. Please subscribe, help us share this broadcast because we need to reach many people with this information. If you are Middle Beltan, this concerns you. If you are Biafran, this concerns you. If you are Yoruba, this concerns you. This concerns each and every one of us, and we need that message to get across. Ladi Olakunle, good morning to you, and I thank you very much for sharing the broadcast and tuning in. So let's go ahead and look at that. So please, those words, I want you to take those words in. Those words are not new. These are the actions of those who are intent on enslaving us in our land, and we have to really understand the most how this is important. Morning, Odufa David. Owolabi Damilola Shola, good morning to you. Let me just see. I'm going to try and go on other platforms and say a quick good morning to everybody that I see on the platform coming in. I appreciate you all. So good morning, Owolabi Damilola Shola, Odufa David. Sorry, good morning. I think I've said that. Let's go and look on Citizen AY. Sorry about that. I'm just going to check. Make sure. Good morning. Laidi Olakunle. Liadi Olakunle. Good morning to you. Good morning. I hope I've said that right. Do beg your pardon if I haven't said it right. So good morning. Those of you watching us on Citizen AY. Please don't forget, give us a thumbs up. It's very, very important. The thumbs up are very, very important. Good morning to you all. Please continue to share. Now let's go and look at the other platforms on Facebook. Is watching. So Babatunde Yajani, Fidelis Olo Okonofua. Good morning. Morufat Omo Ayonlola. Good morning. Rita Oyeke Igabari. Good morning. Somebody in Arabic is watching. Okay, that's fine. I don't have anything to hide, so you can go ahead. James Friday, all hail Oduduwa, all hail Biafra. Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Nikki Adebowale. Good morning. Good afternoon to you. Sorry, good. It's still morning here, but good afternoon to you. Ogundipe Joel Luluwatosi, good morning. So Nikki, good morning to you as well. Let's see other platforms as well before we go ahead. So I'm just trying to make sure that I reach as many people as possible on as many platforms as possible, and I want to thank you for watching. But this program is very, very important. It will help throw some light onto what you're seeing on the screen, and many people may not be aware of what it means and the impact. So good morning, Adeni Farouk Okonlomo, Adeni Abebi Olami Olayemi Adam. Good morning, Bashir Mustafa. Thank you, Ruba Force. Good morning, Prirem Lace. Good morning, Adekunle Aliu. Good morning, Abe Olufisayo. Good morning, Benjis. Good morning, Otumba Olusegun Ogunpiton. Good morning, and then Akode Gabriel. Good morning. So good morning to you all. Please help us share this broadcast. The broadcast is going to largely be in English. We might translate it. I'll loosely translate the words that are here. Cherry àṣìá tí wọ́n fi sí tán rì mọ́ tán fi sára òkúta tó gbélé yẹn àṣìá Nàìjíríà ni. Wọ́n fi ṣe àpẹẹrẹ pé wọ́n fi igi sínú ilẹ̀ pé tó má lè ti tẹ igi yẹn mọ́lẹ̀ ó máa da àwọn ó máa jẹ́ kí àwọn alálẹ̀ wa wọn ò ní lè gbèjà wa. Nǹkan tó ń èròǹgbà ọkàn wọn nìyẹn láti ó pé wọ́n máa fi dà wọ́n rú wọn ò ní lè so wá papọ̀ ká sì jẹ́ ilẹ̀ káàrọ̀ òjìrè ìtumọ̀ pé wọ́n ṣe kíní ìsílẹ̀ nìyẹn. So nǹkan kíní yóò dẹ̀ wá látọwọ́ àwọn àbá tó ń mú wáyé ó wá látọwọ́ àwọn amúnisìn àwọn èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì tán wá kọ́ wa lórí lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ gangan àwọn gangan ló ń kọ́ wọn ní kíní. So what I'm basically saying is translating what I just showed to you earlier on. And what I want us all to really look at as I understand that flag. It is very important to understand that this flag, the brick that you see on the floor is with our flag. It is the same thing as a mast and as a flag that is stuck into the ground. The same thing, the same idea, the same plan. So it's important we understand that. Now let us go and look at why this is a recolonization agenda. This is a recolonization agenda. So we'll show you the first colonization, and then we will come back. And when you see the first colonization, then you'll understand that this is an attempt to do that. Because now they clearly see that we want to go our own way. They see that we are not interested in going for anything else other than Yoruba Nation, or the Biafra Nation, and Middle Belt. They know that we're not interested in anything like that. So what they want to do is to impose this by force. By telling us that if we see this, we cannot ignore Nigeria. And we are telling them that before Nigeria existed, Yoruba Nation existed. Before Nigeria existed, Biafra or Igbo land existed. Before Nigeria existed, the Middle Belt, the Nok Empire existed. Nigeria, for example, Yoruba Nation, for example, existed. There's in Ihueleru, Cave of Ashes. There is a skull of a man that was there, a Yoruba man, that is 13,000 years old, minimum. And he was 30 when he died. So when they are trying to do this, they are trying to sort of impose on us that we must stay in one Nigeria. That's basically what they're trying to do. It is a recolonization agenda. And what is more, the one Nigeria they're talking about does not include you and I as Middle Belt, as Igbos, Biafrans, and as Yorubas. It doesn't, or Oduduwa people. It doesn't involve us. And it is very important we understand that. That is why we are showing you this picture. That this is a sign that they're sticking into the ground that this land shall remain Nigeria. We shall remain one, come what may. Regardless of what we, the people of Yoruba land, we have said via a petition. 5 million of us have signed a petition that Madam Onitiri put in place, and I thank Madam Onitiri very much for that. That is our voice right there. Whether or not the steps we'll take next, it doesn't matter now. That's not the point now. The steps we take now to actualize that, what it is to know, now make sure that our people are aware of that, the fact that we want to go, and the steps we take is to make sure that our land is safe and secure for us to live in. Because as you speak right now, country of Nigeria is not safe to live in for anybody. It isn't. But they want you to be in it. It is not safe for you as a Middle Belt, as a Yoruba man, or as a Biafran. It isn't safe for us to live inside contractual Nigeria. And that is very important to understand. That is why they put all of this here along the coast. From Lagos to Port Harcourt, I understood. They've seen pictures like this. People have been taking pictures, and they posted it. And this was sent to Yomi Koiki. And when I saw this, then I remembered what I saw, what I read earlier on, and that's what we want to go and look at now. Let me just do something quickly. Now, let me try and get you. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to do this now. So this is where, please bear in mind, the idea that they've put this on the soil and they connected it to the soil is they are trying to violate our ancestral connection to our soil by saying that, no, we are no longer Oduduwa people. Nobody can tell you that you are no longer Oduduwa people. Your ancestors own that land. You need to make sure you reclaim that land from contractual Nigeria. Contractual Nigeria was created by the colonials. It's a name that's foreign to us. It has nothing to do with our ancestors, and we need to make sure that we restate that. We are going for Yoruba nation. Now, here we go. I want you to look at something. Now, here is something that I want you to understand. This is the 1884 Berlin Conference. And that was where the colonization of the whole of Africa, not just Nigeria, took place. And interesting enough, if you look on the map, that area there is what I'm showing you is Nigeria. So it was created, and many people may not believe me, but this Nigeria, what you call Nigeria, was created at the Berlin Conference. And it was simply the fact whoever had treaty, so-called treaty, and it is not a treaty. How can you call the imposition forcing people that they must only trade with you, that they cannot trade with anybody else? How can you call that a two-way treaty? It is a one-way treaty. They imposed this on us. So the countries that you see at the table, they went and forced Africans to trade with them. And then they went back and said, look, they've signed. They are with me. I'm with them. I control them. I own that land. So they don't tell us that, they don't tell Africans that they're colonizing us. They have to make it, we're trading. Under the guise of trade, we were colonized. It's important we understand these steps. It is really important, because if we don't understand the steps, people would, it's very, very important that you understand that the things that they do, exactly, Peter Idahosa, yes, invasion of Benin in 1897, that was after the Berlin Conference. After they won the Berlin Conference, they wanted to stamp their authority and show that they owned it to the others, So these are all, what you call a treaty is not a treaty at all. It is an imposition, and we need to understand that. So again, that is why I've put there, you see on the map, that in there, what you call Nigeria was actually created on the Berlin Conference table. They agreed about the northern and the southern protectorate already. And already before Flora Shaw came on the scene, before Lord Lugard came on the scene, George Goldie had gone to Berlin on the say-so of the British government to stake the claim for what is called Nigeria. That was a name that they kept behind. And then on the 1st of January 1900, they now said we're now Nigeria. So this is really important. We understand all of that, the steps, and that is how our colonization really began. Now it's in 1884-85. So that's why you see me right. Nigeria was created at the Berlin Conference, September 1884-85. The colonials agreed whoever established domination of that part of Africa will be seen as the treaty binding on all others. All others mean those who are in this room. Somebody told me a story of an African trying to attend, and an African man, a king, heard about this conference and wanted to attend, and they laughed at him. I think it's from Zanzibar. I will get that information and I'll bring it to you. They laughed at him. So it wasn't that we didn't even know. We knew. We wanted to go and say, no, this is our land. And they imposed themselves. So I will bring that story and we will talk about that as well. So now, So Middle Belt and South, we can no longer accept the colonial construct on our land and on the land of our ancestors. So what they are imposing, what they have done, when you say you support Nigeria, then you are accepting the imposition of colonialism on our ancestral land. You need to understand what I'm saying. Let me say that again slowly. When you accept to be part of one Nigeria, you are accepting the continued imposition of colonialism on the land of our ancestors, and that does not sit right. By accepting that, you accept a name that is foreign to our ancestors. We should be answering to our ancestral name. Biafra, Igbo, Yoruba, Oduduwa, Middle Belt, the North Empire, and all. That is foreign to us. The colonials, the Europeans will never accept any other name from anybody else for them to be called that, except the name they choose themselves. They will never accept that. So why should we accept that? Why are we willing to accept a name imposed to us like we are little more than slaves? Jide Uma, good morning to you. Wumi Olokun, good morning. We shouldn't accept that in any way, shape, or form. And I'm trying to really make sure we understand the steps that are being taken here. Now, let me carry on. So the European officials staking claim to Africa at the Berlin conference. That's a picture you saw, earlier on. So now let's go ahead. So the violation, you see, colonization is about the violation of another man's land. You need to understand, colonialism is simply the violation of the human rights of generations of Africans to date and their land. So let me read to you what I said here. Greetings, Africans. Below is the heading, 1884 Berlin Conference. The fact is, by this singular act, the human rights of every single African and their descendants were violated by this deliberate, oppressive. Thank you very much, Nikki Adebowale, for the star. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. So let me just put that down there. Thanks so much. I appreciate your support. So now it is important to understand that the fact is, by this singular act, the human rights of every single African and their descendants were violated by this deliberate, oppressive, and unjust action that 14 European countries took against our African ancestors, leading to altering the fortunes of coming generations of Africans, including the author, which is myself. So this is important to understand that colonization, I want you to understand that colonization, that the Berlin Conference colonization of Africa has impacted us for over 135 years until date. We are still impacted by that. I don't say this for you to feel sorry for yourself. I say it so you understand the steps that was taken. They have done theirs. Now it is time that we, as the Africans, reclaim the land of our ancestors, the name of our ancestors. Everything that was taken, we must claim that back, because that is how we can secure the future for the coming generations. So I hope that makes sense to you as I'm talking about this. So it's really important to understand that by the violation of they violated our human rights and violated our land by imposing themselves on us and dividing us across, breaking our kingdoms up. For example, in Yoruba land, for example, we had kingdoms as far as Togo, as far as Benin, and they broke it up. So Togo now is declared a separate country called Togo. But we were in Togo, we were in Benin, Yoruba land. So we need to understand. So when you're saying that you support one Nigeria, you're supporting the breaking up of what our own ancestors built. We can't accept that. We can't. We need to tell this story to our youth. It's very important we understand that. Now, next step. So we demand reparations for the dismantlement of Africa. And I am not talking about it can be, you can look at that any way you want. The demand for reparations will be reclaiming our land. When we reclaim our land and we ensure that our artifacts, the reparations I'm talking about more, if they want to give funds in terms of financial funds, it matters not, because let me say this. We need to understand something, and I hope people get me when I say this. I hope I'm not speaking too fast. We need to understand that what you call an economy and the monetary system and all of that is all based on the value of African resources. Europe has very little resources. That's the reality. But people don't understand it. The monetary system and the loans or whatever it's created and all of that system and papers signed, it is not backed by any resources in Europe. Everything that is created under this European monetary system is based on African resources. That is the reality. Look, 30% of the land in Africa is fertile. Del Monte, let me give an example. Del Monte in Kenya, they've taken over swathe of land that belongs to Africans, and they grow all of the things that they say they produce. So you would think that Del Monte is in the US or wherever it is, but it is actually being made in Africa. But many of us are not aware of all of this. I'm not saying this out of hate. I'm stating the facts. When you go and live, you can go and type this. Just type Del Monte in Kenya, and you will come up with all the land that they own and the people, they're farming. 33% of the world's fertile land is in Africa. I kid you not. Go and type it up. It will show up. But we as Africans are not aware of this. So I'm just stating that. And also, go and look all over Europe. You will see that African artifacts are all over Europe, in America, in Canada, and they profit from our art that our ancestors made. In fact, they are copying it. They are copying the art. They are copying and mimicking all of that. Now, it will be fine if we know. Those of us, we are not aware of this. Many of us haven't been aware, and we need to be aware of this fact. So for me, when I talk about reparations, my focus is about reparations of all our artifacts returned back to Africa without question. Without question. That is, if people want to expand it into terms of finances, fine. But our as we speak right now, it is earning billions of dollars, pounds, euros, whatever, sterling, whatever. For them, it is. Thank you very much, Femi Adeola Dashaolu. Thank you. So this is really important. We understand the steps that I'm saying here, because if we don't understand what has been done, we will be making the same mistakes. Clearly, those Africans who are even now trying to recolonize their fellow Africans, i.e. the Fulanis, they have obviously not understood what was going on. But obviously, these are people who don't have a land and they want to give themselves the land. And you taking it from us, the indigenous people. And we need to put a stop to that. And that is why knowing this history is very, very important. Now, next step. So that is something we need to come back to. We need to quantify that reparation. For me, it certainly contains the return of all our artifacts, bar none. They did a gesture now. After killing Patrice Lumumba, they returned his teeth. That's a token gesture. They need to Belgium has to pay back, give everything they've taken from them, return everything, and take away, and Africa stands as one again. This is not a question of just saying, oh, we regret. We need to hear the word sorry and return of every single thing stolen. It is as simple as that. This is not for me. I'm not saying this for my generation. The coming generation must make sure that they take this story on and carry it on and ensure that they achieve this without a doubt. So this is part of it. And as you know, Yoruba land, Biafra land, Middle Belt, and all of that, we are part of this of this process. So going for Yoruba land will be the beginning of the of repairing of the damage done to Africa. Going for Biafra land will be the beginning of repairing the damage done to Biafra land. Going for and having and achieving the Middle Belt, same thing, and also Ambazonia, because we have nobody else can repair us, only us. So I'm trying to explain that in a way that makes sense. Now let's go ahead. So now I need you to understand the Otto Eduard Leopold von Bismarck. He was the guy that created this. When this started, the scramble for Africa started when the King of Belgium took over Congo. And Congo was, I don't know, many times over the size of Belgium. But because they used religion and everything else and forced treaty to force the Congo, the people of Congo, to become, to become their colony, and not the guise of trading. Otto von Bismarck wanted the same thing for Germany. So, and they'd been fighting themselves. So what was happening is one colony, one European country will come, fight for a part of Africa, and the next one will come and take it. So they wanted to stop the fight among themselves about us, the people and the land. So they made an agreement. That is why the Berlin Conference is so important. We need to understand that. That is the basis upon which the new nations, the nations that you call nations in Africa, they are simply extraction points for our resources. So it's important to understand the basis. Now, let's go forward. So let's read what it says here. New imperialism period and coincided with Germany's sudden emergence as an imperial power. The conference was organized by Otto von Bismarck, the first Chancellor of Germany, and its outcome, the General Act of Berlin Conference, can be seen as the formalization of the scramble for Africa. So let me see if I can, you know what, I'm going to do it slightly differently. Give me a second. I need to just do something quickly so you can see this better. 1 second, please. I'm going to do this quickly. Give me a minute, please. I need to just quickly, I'll get it back. So it's better, you can get a better picture of it. So here we go. Share now. Okay, so now that's much better. I think you will be able to see it much better now. So that when I'm talking about it, I want you to see the words that I'm writing, because that way it connects and you can see. So that is much better. My face, you can, I don't have to have my face all over the place, but let's make that here. So now that's much better. So now let me read that bit again, because I want you to understand the bits that I'm talking about here. So it says here, new imperialism period and the coincided and period and coincided with Germany's sudden emergence as imperial power. The conference was organized by Otto von Bismarck, the first Chancellor of Germany. Its outcome, the General Act of Berlin Conference, can be seen as the formalization of the scramble for Africa. So it's important to understand that when you look at this picture, when you look at the picture of the flag, that this is about colonizing and violating the land that belongs to other people. That's what colonialism is about. It's important to understand that. So now, you see, African nations and territory identity. It is important to understand what that means. It means that they recognized that before they imposed what you now call Nigeria, what you now call Ivory Coast, what you now call all of those names, they recognized that Africa had its own nations, because it's in black and white. They said it here. Their words are African nations and territory identity. So that is very important for us to understand. So that's why when we say that Yoruba nation, we are going back to what our ancestors created and reclaiming that. So that is a very important step to understand in all of this. And every time we are reaffirming this, it is taking away any foundation that they might have for the imposition of anything called Nigeria. Because it is, you can see it in black and white. And these are things that we want our people to share and understand. So please continue to share this podcast. Very, very important that this information reaches many people. Now, let's read the words it says here. The dismantlement of Africa land and nations and the artificial construction of the 1872 colonial Africa to 1960. All of this was things they created all the way from 1872 to 1960. Now, if you remember, 1960, Nigeria was what they created in 1960. So you can see there is a direct connection. So they are creating Nigeria on nations that had already existed. Yoruba nation had already been in existence. That's what I'm trying to say. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain here. And this is really important points that our youth need to hear and affirm and take on as part of claiming their identity. If you want to claim back your identity, you first need to understand that before the creation of Nigeria, we had nations in Africa. And those nations are the ones created directly by our ancestors. And that is where we have to begin. To claim our identity back is to reclaim our ancestral nations back. Very important to understand that. Now let's read what it says here. The dismantlement of African land and nations and the artificial construction of the 1870 colonial Africa 1960. Here are 14 countries. It's important to understand, there are 14 European countries that set about dismantling and scrambling for Africa, scrambling for our ancestral land. That is what they came to scramble among themselves to put a treaty in place that will stop the remaining 13 from coming to take over what they took from us. So here are the countries. The countries represented at the time included Austria-Hungary, Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Great Britain, Italy, the Netherlands, Portugal, Russia, Spain, Sweden, Norway. Yes, Sweden, Norway. United from 1814 to 1905. So during the time that they were doing the scramble for Africa, 1884, smack in the middle towards the end of the union between Sweden and Norway, Turkey and the United States of America. Of these 14 nations, France, Germany, and the UK and Portugal were the major players in the conference, controlling most of the colonial Africa at the time. So I hope you are understanding and the basis on which I'm bringing this to you. It's important to understand that what you call nations in Africa today were created at the Berlin Conference. That includes your Nigeria. You need to understand that. And Nigeria was built on African nations that had already been in existence. It's already been in existence, and we are bringing it back to life. That is why we have to go for Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, and Middle Belt nation. So please, let's just, we're trying to put the context is very important in all of this. It's not about being angry. It's about understanding why we need to take the steps that we are taking now to reclaim the land of our ancestors using their names, because we are invoking their spirit when we're doing that. Every time we mention Nigeria, we are killing the spirit of our ancestors. Every time we mention the name Nigeria, it's like we are putting to death our ancestors in our own land, and that is why there's so much misery in our land, because the people who bequeath us those lands, we are not honoring them. That's why it is a must that Yoruba nation must arise again. It is a must that Biafra must arise. It's a must that the Middle Belt must arise, and Bazonia. These are realities that we need to understand now. So let's go forward. Now, so you got the flags of the 14 countries as at the time. So you got Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, I think it's Holland, Czechoslovakia, I think, Turkey, Denmark, I think this is France, UK, this is US, that is Italy there. You got Portugal, you got Spain, Portugal, and I think something, I can't remember this one, either Switzerland, I can't remember which one of them. And then of course that's Germany, that's Sweden, Norway. So those are the 14 countries they pictured, the flags there. So it's important to understand all of this because many people, you're not connecting and understanding. When you think about Nigeria, it's important to understand that Nigeria was created. Let me go back again and show you. On this table here, in Berlin Conference, these were the people who created it. Not by our ancestors. Not by our ancestors. Our ancestors created Yoruba land. They created Biafra. They created Middle Belt. They created Benin Empire. They created all these things, and they destroyed it. So we need to understand that, and I hope this makes sense to you, us all. Please continue to share this broadcast. Subscribe. Please share this broadcast. It really is important for people to understand what has been done and how we can go about fixing it. Now, so here we go. How they divided and ruled. Let me put it. Can I put it here? Let me see if I can see. I'm trying to make sure you can put it in a way that's Africa. So the Berlin Conference or Congo Conference, 1884-85, made rules for European colonization and trade in Africa. It was called for by Portugal and organized by Otto von Bismarck. The conference met during the scramble for Africa at a time with more colonial activity by European powers. Africans were not invited. It ended most existing forms of African autonomy and self-governance. Did you see what I'm just saying? I need you to understand the words I've just read now. The last bit there, it ended. Let me put this here. Sorry, it's going to be, I'll put it here. So, listen to the words here. It ended most existing forms of African autonomy and self-governance, assuring that the European powers would not have to fight among themselves for dominance. So this, what you call, if you understand what I'm saying now, you will understand that what you are calling a democracy now of those countries created on the Berlin Conference, it's not a democracy. This is an imposition. Our will as people have not been respected. We've been broken up. They've cut Africa along, through our cultural lines and put people that should be together. They've split them and divided us, so to enable the continued domination of Africa. These are realities of what we face. These are the realities of what we face. I hope people understand what I'm saying here. So it talks about here, it says it ended most forms of African autonomy and self-governance. So now, whatever you think, when you think, oh, we have a democracy, we have autonomy, we are not. All of even Nigeria is controlled. Nigeria is controlled by the colonials right now. They are directing the operations of Africa, in Nigeria. 14 African countries are still controlled by France. These are the realities of what we face. So when we're talking about becoming a truly independent Africa, it is returning our autonomy. This is returning African autonomy to Africans. That is what it's about. The words are what I'm showing you. And of course, to the end of that, you see Otto Prince Bismarck, Duke of Lamberg, whatever they call himself. So these are things that we need to really understand. Now, let's go forward. Now, artificial construction of colonial Africa. So, look, these are the words. Again, please try and understand, and I'm asking those who are listening to this, we have to really understand that what you call nations are artificial nations. I mean, the words say it, artificial construction of colonial Africa. It is artificial. As the heading states, it is artificial construction of colonial Africa. The reason for not meeting was to agree to a kind of binding terms of engagement on African soil so as not to fight among themselves. The sole aim of the colonization was to exploit the land and the people of Africa, so much so that Africa has been divided into 5 colonial territories, mainly United Kingdom, France, Germany, Portugal, and Spain, What is worse is that those colonial territories were forced to speak the language of the colonizers as well as practice the religions of the colonizers that the colonizers imposed on Africa. So when you stand and you say, "Oh, I am a Christian, I am this," I'm giving you the foundation of what makes you what you are right now today. I'm giving you so you need to understand the very foundation. This is nothing to do with the Most High. This is an imposition. And I'm hoping that by having this information, you free your mind from enslavement. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of it can stop at the time. How long must they kill our prophet? Our wives be stand aside and look, whoa. Some say it's just the part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing? This song of freedom is all I ever had. Oh yeah, redemption song, redemption song. This song of freedom is all I ever had. Oh yeah, redemption song, redemption song. We are doing this collectively to awaken us. When you say and you affirm to yourself in a way, in the mistaken belief that this is what has been there, has always been, we are here explaining to you that they broke apart your ancestral belief system and imposed what is now in what you are now practicing, believing that you're Christian. You need to understand the basis of it. And many people, I don't think, understand quite how dangerous this has gone on. And I'm not saying this out of hatred, but to shine a light on the areas that have hidden from us for a millennia or thousands of years, let's just say. Let's say hundreds of years, 400 or 500 years. And it is important going forward that our coming generation are aware of what is going on, So this is what, these are things that we have to understand. Again, I want you to read the words again. Listen to the words I'm saying here. What was that those colonial territories were forced to speak the language of the colonizers, as well as practice the religions that the colonizers imposed on Africa. That is a very important point to hold on to and remind ourselves and teach there is no free will in this. There has been. Good afternoon, Akim Adido Rasaki. Good afternoon. Please share this broadcast and make it reach as many people as possible on all the platforms. Go to Citizen AY on YouTube and subscribe. Help us get this broadcast going. Here we go. Now let me just see. Well, I just saw something now. I'm going to just quickly read. I just read something I'm trying to see to tell you. Breaking. Let us have a look now. Something to do with the Accountant General, and let us see what they're talking about. I may not, it's just a bit of a segue, but this is very important, and you will see where it's going. So they have replaced the Accountant General with Anamwekwe, replaced over corruption fraud, but it's not been charged to court or anything, so it's all a fraud anyway. It's all, everything the Fulani does is fine. Nothing will happen. They won't get jailed. None of that. So that confirms more and more why we need to go for Yoruba Nation, Middle Belt, and Biafra. Listen to this now. So now let's look at the breakdown of how they set about dividing Africa. So when you talk about the religion that you practice now came in at the same time that the colonials took over our land. That's the reality. That's the reality. I kid you not. 1884, 1885, that was when this religion came and spread, and they forced it. It wasn't It was a way to force us to speak their language. You need to understand, this is the realities. Because they wrote it in the language. To teach you there to the Bible, it had to be in their language. And they wanted us to stop speaking our language so they can control our thoughts. Look, anyway, I hope this is making some sort of sense to those of you as we go along. And we're trying to enlighten ourselves, you know. So now, so let's go ahead. So you can see now, Africa divided into colonial territories at Treaty of Berlin 1884-85. So you see now, the British, the colonies, and they even color coded it. British are in blue. So the British controlled Egypt, Anglo Egyptian Sudan. They controlled all the blue areas that you see. Union of South Africa, Nigeria, I think that's Ghana, Sierra Leone. And then the West Africa, the French West Africa is in red. So it's color-coded. The Spanish is in purple. The Portuguese in yellow. The Belge in blue. The dark blue. Germans in green. So Germany, see that? 3 areas, major areas. Italy was brown. Which one is Italy? Italy was, I think Italy is this one here. I think that's Italy's this one here, if I'm correct. I'm not too sure. And then independent are the white. The ones that they never colonized. I think that's not Somalia, the other one. Not Sudan, not Somalia, but there was one part that they never colonized. That, or the whole of Africa, that was more or less the one that was independent, and maybe that small patch here, but you can see the story. So it's important to understand what is being done here. And I want you to understand that the fact that you're speaking, that practicing religion now is because of this colonization. And that is without a doubt. It's not something you can dispute at all. It is the reality on ground. Now, so let's go on. So, there is something I want to read. This is a hard story to read. And please don't, this is going to be a hard story that I'm going to read out. So how the colonials began the brainwashing of Africans. So there is a line I want Africans to remember, and this is horrendous and sickening, a quote. A long one, but read it. The injection of colonists, but also the whitening of the quotidian, i.e. quotidian simply is means routine, of Africans, removing them of any form of autonomy to eat, to dress, according to sleep, to pray, to walk, to say, to organize the house, European models. Perverse impositions, since they are followed a form of ridicule of Africans who adhere to European proposals. So the idea was, you see, when Africa was very, very sure, before we were colonized, some of us who were trying to be Europeans, people were laughing at them. Why do you want to be Europeans? They came to colonize us. This is our land. And they've turned that around. That now they make anybody practicing African. That is why you understand. It's very important to understand it. So that's why you now see that to even wear African clothes for some time, or even speak in a language, they said that to speak your African language in African land is vernacular. These are realities that to speak your African language in your African land. I'm not even saying to come to Europe to speak it. I'm saying to speak your African language in Africa is considered a vernacular. These are realities that we need to understand, that has impacted us. And what that has meant is that in terms of what we ate, what we thought, how we slept, was influenced because you felt ridicule to be African. That it was the only thing that was okay was for you to be Europeanized. That's the reality of what I'm explaining here. And I'm just trying to, these are the words, their words. So, now, perverse impositions, since they are follow form of ridicule of Africans who adhere to European proposals. So they flip that down. People who are saying, oh, no, I'm happy to be African. Why should you want to be to their fellow Africans? And laugh at them, they now turn around and made it okay for you to, they say, no, you cannot speak a language. So people are speaking and you are fined. Do you know, people, I was fined in school for speaking vernacular, for speaking my language, which they call vernacular. My language is not vernacular. My language is Yoruba. Vernacular has no meaning to me. I'm a Yoruba man. Vernacular, in the strictest terms, has no meaning because there's got no reference point in my Yoruba language. But people have been, they made us turn against our own self. You see, what you eat, what you wear, what you pray to, these are all part of your identity. We've been stripped of that identity. And that is the reality of what we're facing. And we need to really speak up about this. Please, as you're watching this, don't just watch alone. Share the broadcast, because these are really important information that we want to impart on as many of us as possible. Don't forget, please subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. Hit notification button. Give us the thumbs up. As you're watching, go to YouTube and help us grow that platform. It's very, very important. But I'm breaking down exactly every single step of what has been done to us now. And at one point, I will bring that flag in to see the relevance of why that flag is an attempt of recolonization. It will happen shortly. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. And of course, please, those of you watching on Oduduwati Radio as well on YouTube, thank you very much. Continue to subscribe to both Citizen AY and Oduduwati Radio and other platforms. Thank you very much. Now, let's carry on. So now it talks about here the paper missions in such a way that it respects to the expansion of Christian religions, as in that it relates to the diffusion of the practical values and the cultural ones of the colonized, the change of the symbolic systems, particularly visible in religious structures that, if multiplied, churches and chapels and crosses and crucifixes, sending for the space of the interdict the religious expressions of Africans, devaluating our idols and witchcrafts, etc. So what they did was to completely devalue, in our own eyes, in Africa, our belief system. And then they came and they said they were doing missionary and giving us books and were, civilizing us. What they were actually doing was brainwashing us to turn against our own belief system so that they can continue to access our resources. This is about our resources. You need to understand. I'm just breaking this down so we understand how this has been going on and for how long this has been going on. So now, here's something I want you to look at, and I'll probably come back and break this up a little bit more, break it down a bit more. Now, it talks about, that is why you see, they made sure, you see, in the olden days, when you looked at you would see our artifacts. Our ancestors had, gods and things. And, when we did rituals or whatever, or things, they would put it on the soil so people would know. They took all that away. And then what we all see today is either Christian churches or mosques. So we've been stripped of who we are, all to ensure that they continue to have unfettered access to our own resources without us letting us be Africans as we are. We are Africans in body, but with Europeanized thinking. That's why they talk about European models. We are African looking, we are black people, but with white minds, because that's what they've brainwashed into us. That's the reality. That is the reality. I'm just explaining that is our condition right now. And many of us are unaware. And they can control that. When you control the mind of people, you can control their land. When you control the minds of the people, you can control their land. They can control everything about them. What they eat, what they think, how they sleep. You can control them to make you see you as their savior. So now we see the very people that came and colonized us, as our savior. That's the reality. I'm not saying it as a question. I'm just putting out the facts there. Now, here's a bit I want you to look at now that I'm going to go into now. So now it talks about its religious symbols, but also the introduction of European symbols, taxes to the Africans. So they introduced taxing. We had our own way of taxing. To get protection from kingdoms who are not as powerful in Yoruba kingdom. They say, okay, fine, you paid some taxes to us, we will protect you. And that, that's fine. So we had our own form of taxation, but they're not interested in that. They're not interested in that. They wanted to take the whole thing over. So they imposed what they call tax. So for us now, if you don't meet the quota in Belgium, in Congo, for example, when people did not get enough rubber, they cut off their hands. They cut off their hands. In Belgium, 10 million people were killed in Belgium. Africans. So I'm just giving you context. Now, this is the bit I want you to really understand. Here's what I want you to look at. This is the bit I want you to look at. Now, the Portuguese flag, whose mast can be stuck in the land, violating the spirits, once in metallic, once metallic, once in paper. So now, this is the bit that you need to hold on to and try and really understand now. The flag, Portuguese flag, whose mast can be stuck in the land, violating the spirits. That's another way of them, when they stick their flag into the land, they say, no longer, this land is no longer yours or your ancestors. It is mine because my flag is on it. Are you following what I'm saying? The Portuguese flag stuck in the land in all of the places. So let's go and show you what I mean. Let me go back quickly. 1 second. All of these countries, they stuck their flags in our land. They stuck their flag in our land, meaning that they now controlled and owned that land. That's what they did. It's important to understand that. Particularly these 5 countries. These 5 countries, they stuck, so you see Britain, France, Spain, Portuguese. They stuck their flag in our land, meaning that they own it. Now, let's go and see what the Fulanis are doing now. That's what I wanted to, this is the point I really want you to understand. Now, let's go here. 1 second. Where is it? Now, can you see that? Can you see that? I hope you can see that. And I hope that makes sense as you're seeing it now. Is it making sense now? Sorry about that. 1 minute. I don't know what's going on there. So I just want to make sure that people understand. And are you seeing what I'm saying? Oh, something is going on and I'm not quite sure. I'm going to try and, sorry about that. Something has happened here. Okay, I don't know. It froze. The screen froze. So I'm trying to bring it back. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Did you see that? So sorry, something froze when it froze. So can you? I hope you can see that now. So something was happening and I wanted to check it. So I'm just trying to show you. Let me go back again. Because I want to. This is a very important point here, and we cannot lose that sight of that. Now, okay. Where we were was this. We were here explaining that let me go one forward quickly. We were here explaining about, sorry about that. We were here explaining about the Portuguese flag whose mast can be stuck in the land, violating the spirits. So that's what I put in here. And that is important to understand that. And that's exactly what the Fulanis are doing right now. Yes, they wanted us to forget who we are. Exactly. So this is this is very important. So when they stick in the ground, and that's exactly what the so-called Nigerian flag is being used to represent right now. So when you see this, it is the same thing. It is exactly the same thing. So they have now, the Fulanis who are working with some proxy have now tried to reimpose and recolonize our land, because they know that many of us are going for Yoruba land. Many of us are going for Biafra land. Many of us want, Middle Belt. So this is an attempt to recolonize us. So you can see now they stuck that by putting this across the coastline. They're saying we own the land, and we must reject that, because again, our ancestral land. I told you they the Europeans refused to recognize the fact that Africans had our own nations already, and they imposed on us what they wanted so they could take our resources. That's the reality of what we face. So I'm hoping this makes a lot of sense in the discussion going forward. And let me just pause there for a second. And I wanted to Ethiopia. Thank you very much. Yes, Faku. Yes, Faku Moju. Thank you very much. Ethiopia. So let me go back to that point. That was it. Ethiopia. Absolutely. And Ni Kule, Ethiopia. That's it. Yes, Ethiopia. So now these are realities that we have to confront collectively. And I'm hoping that we will understand that. So when you see this now, they are simply trying to replicate what happened here. They are simply trying to replicate what happened here, whereby now we now become a British colony. We become, and Nigeria is not something we want, but they want to impose it on you and I. So I hope you are beginning to see that connection between. That's why we're saying they're trying to recolonize. We don't want. Thank you very much, Samuel Kemi. Thank you very much. So this is important. We understand when you see this, it is another attempt at recolonization, and we have to go for self-determination. We have to go for that full steam ahead. Very, very important. So please do continue to share this broadcast, reach as many people as possible with this. Now let's go forward a little bit more. So now that is a point that I hope people can relate to, so that when you see this mask, when you see this anywhere, tell people at home now, when they see this, it's an attempt now to impose Nigeria on us. They know that Middle Belt people want to go. They know that Biafrans want to go. They know that Oduduwa want to go. But they're hoping that by putting this on the floor, that it will stop us. And they think that it's going to violate the spirit of our ancestors. But the spirit of our ancestors is not only in our soil, but it's in our soul. And that is what is driving us to go for Yoruba nation. They cannot stop that spirit. It's everywhere. Our ancestral spirits are in the air, in the soil, in our body, in our mind. It's everywhere. And that is why it's bringing us to get back to where we are, where we should be, where we need to be. We go back into our Yoruba land, in Biafra land. It is everywhere. They cannot stop it. Nothing can stop this. We have already achieved self-determination. The recognition is sure to follow. We have already achieved self-determination, and we are already a nation. We are already Yoruba nation. We are already Biafra nation. We are already Middle Belt nation. We are already Ambazonia nation. And now what is sure to follow is the recognition of that fact. And I want us to really make sure that our people start reaffirming that I am a Yoruba man. I am a Biafran. I am a Middle Belt. I am Ambazonian. Because that way, the more we reaffirm that, the more real it becomes. Because what they are hoping to do is by imposing this on us, and that is what religion is a very powerful tool in all of this. They want you to pray. And they ask you, notice they will say, pray for Nigeria. Well, how can you continue to pray for Nigeria when Nigeria is killing your own people every day? How? How can you continue to pray for one Nigeria when one Nigeria has brought in millions of people to come and kill you and yours in your ancestral land? It's not right. It is not right at all. So I hope people understand that we need to raise the level of awareness from a very, very psychological point of view. You see, to conquer a nation, you start with their mind. To free the nation, thereby, we have to start with our mind. To conquer a nation, you conquer the minds of the people, then the nation will follow. To free the people, we have to free the minds of the people, and our nation will arise. That's the same. It's the same thing. It has to work that way. That is how it works. So now I'll come back to this again for those of you who are not following, who may not be aware. So let's go back to the point now. So now, here is it. So, again, I spoke about it before. I know many of you practice it, but this is what, as of 1884-85, that is what they use the Bible for. The Bible is very much a tool of operation of Africans as intended under the Berlin 1884-85 conference. The paper, again, I'm reading it, of the missions in such a way that it speaks to the expansion of the Christian religions, as in that it relates to the diffusion of the practical values and the cultural ones of the colonized. The change of the symbolic systems, particularly the visible, the religious structures that, if multiplied, churches, chapels, crosses, and crucifixes, sending for the space of the interdict the religious expressions of Africans, devaluating the linguistic commentary, idols, witchcraft, etc. Religion. Who gave you the right to call what I do witchcraft? I don't give you that right. No, you have no right to call my ancestral belief witchcraft or idolatry. You have no right. You practice your religion. You have every right to do it. What I practice orisha. You see, by even naming, by even taking away the power, by naming our own all of our belief system and saying that it's idolatry. We call it orisha in our land. Deities, not something that you can just come and label and say it's a witchcraft, it's idolatry, and all of that nonsense. Again, we need to take control of the right narrative, and that's what I'm really trying to bring about here. So now, again, like I said, not one African was present as the colonials carved up Africa at the Berlin Conference, and that is the reality of what we face. That is what not one. You know, so the one key thing, all this is done. What was was the president at the meeting, at which the lives of millions of Africans, now 1.25 billion, has been and continues to be negatively impacted. I should put in there. In fact, I may even put it in now. Negatively impacted. Let me put that down right away. Let me see. Can I do that? 1 second, please. Here we go. I'm just going to do that quickly because I need you. We do need this kind of thing, explanation, to really hit home so that we understand what has been done. Has been and continues to be negatively impacted. So let me just put that in there quickly. You see it come up in a minute. I just want to make some change to things as I'm negatively impacted. Remember, keep in mind, all of this is to make us aware of why we need to go for self-determination. All of this is intended to make sure that we are aware of the need for us to go for self-determination. If we don't know why we're doing something, we're not likely to do it. But if we understand why we're doing it, then we are more likely to do it. Sorry about that. I'll come back in 1 second. Okay, so where we are. Now go back 1 second. Okay, now. So here are pictures where the carve up of sovereign African lands and nations by invaders who looted our treasure. So this guy here, Henry Morgan Stanley, he undertook as an agent of King Leopold II of Belgium, which enabled the occupation of Congo Basic region. So this guy I think is from Wales. This guy is from Wales. So it's important to understand the key. I'm trying to show you the key players in this in this dismantling of Africa and scramble for Africa. So now, here is King Leopold. Yeah, Leopold. So now, proof of how Europeans use religion to enslave Africans. Leopold letter. So here's an example of when I talk about that they use religion to enslave us. People often they attack me, but I'm going to give you explicit words as to how they used it. Now, so from King Leopold of Belgium, he wrote this to colonial missionaries in 1883. The letter, sorry, go back again. The letter which follows is courtesy of Dr. Vera Nobles and Dr. Chidozie Okoro. Here is an in-depth description of how the Bible was used to brainwash Africans. Reverends, fathers, and their comparators. The task that is given is to fully given to fulfill is very delicate and requires much tact. You will go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelization must inspire above all Belgium interest. So every other missionary, the same thing. If you're French, your evangelization will only to inspire above all Belgium. Evangelization must inspire Belgium. So it's to inspire Britain, to inspire France, to inspire. So this is why I'm saying religion is very much a tool of oppression. People may misunderstand me, but I'm trying to break it down in real clear terms so we understand what has been done. Now, so you will go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelization must inspire above all Belgium interests. Your principal objective in our mission in the Congo. So this again, many of the people, so-called colonized evangelists, that their objective was under the guise of religion to ensure that the people really adored the colonizers. Here we go. So now, your principal objective in our mission in the Congo is never to teach the N word. You see, they even use the N word there. He even used the N word. And these are letters that he wrote, see, to know God. This they know already. You see, they know that we know our gods already. Can you see? Can you see that? They know that we know about God already. They know that. They speak and submit to Mungu, one in Zambia and one in Zazakomba, and what else I don't know. They know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie and to insult is bad. So they know that we. This I can't even give you more evidence of what I'm saying here. This is reality. I'm not trying to be. I'm just putting down things as it is clear. I want to be as clear and concise about this as possible and factual, and not add extra or take something away. Just put it exactly as it is. So let's read on. So now, so they know that we know about God. So that is telling you that our culture, our belief system is something that they know, that is something that is already functioning. Their only aim was to enslave us, to take our resources. They know. They know that. You see, having courage to admit that you're not going to teach them. He said they know that to have courage to admit it. You are not going to teach them what they already know, what they know already. So now they are saying, have the courage to admit it. You are not going to teach them what they all know already. Can you see that? So under the guise of religion, they are going to make us to succumb to them. And that's what's happening now. Your essential role is to facilitate the task of the administrators and industrials. Yeah. You see? So somebody's writing something here. I'm trying to, to me, African Yoruba man. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Levi. So I'm sorry if I'm not seeing all your words. I'm trying to focus on this because this is very important. So I'll try and come and read it if I can. Maybe not now. If I don't do it now, later on. But it's very important. So listen to the words here. It says here, your essential role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrials, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in the way it will be best to protect your interest in that part of the world. Are you following what we are? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Let me read that again. Let me read that again. I just want you to let me just read that again. Your essential role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrials. So the religion, Samuel Akinyemi, the first text Bible came from Ethiopia. You're absolutely right. It is, yes, that's what, from what we understand. But that's another story. So, but right now, stay with me on this. I need you to understand that it's not so much about the religion. It's about how they use that religion to control us till today. That's what I'm trying to get at. Now, it is a tool of oppression. Now, so here. So, which means that you will go into interpret the gospel in the way it will best protect your interest in that part of the world. For these things, you have to keep watch on disinteresting our savages from the richness in that is plenty in their underground. Oh. So they know that we have riches in our underground. Now, do you see when they're telling you to pray and look what's up to God? They don't want you to know about what's in your land. That's what it's about. It's a strategy. Pray to God. Keep looking to the Most High. He will give you everything you need. But you have everything you need beneath your feet. They know. He says here. He says to watch. You have to keep watch on disinteresting our savages from the richness that is plenty in their underground, to avoid that they get interested in it and make you murderous competition and dream one day to overthrow you. So this is already, they have already put their own people as the ones who own our land. And now we are now seen as somebody that they must control in our own land. Look, I hope you guys are all seeing what I'm seeing. I hope it's, I'm trying to be dispassionate about this and just give the facts as they are. These are words written by King Leopold. And no doubt, if you go and look at of the other countries that came to in Africa, the same idea, same ideology. Same ideology. Now, let's go and look at this. Now, let me see. 1 second, please. No, go back again. One search. Yeah. So, sorry about this. I seem to be having some sort of technical glitch of some kind. I'll come back here. Let me go back again. Go back again. Sorry, we'll go back. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll get there. It sometimes can happen, but we will get there. Because I need you to really. No. Okay, so now, here we are. And then we'll bring that back up again. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you for the star. I appreciate that. Let me just okay. So I'm going to do that again. I have to do that again. Okay, let's go back out. So still share screen. And then come here. And then put that back in there. There we are. There we are. So now we're going to do this. So I'm going to try and put that somewhere. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't get in the way. Okay, your knowledge of this gospel will allow you to find texts ordering and encouraging your followers to love poverty. Is that not brainwashing? And that's what's still happening till today. That is what is still happening till today. Listen, your knowledge of the gospel will allow you to find texts ordering and encouraging your followers to love poverty. Like, happier are the poor because they will inherit the heaven. And it's very difficult for the rich to enter the kingdom of God. You have to detach them and make them disrespect everything which gives courage to affront us. That is psychological brainwashing. We need to understand that is what the Fulanis are trying to do, are doing as well right now. Same thing. Now, so I make reference to this, to their mystic system and their war fetish warfare protection. You see, the other day, the Fulanis took away The Fulanis who were trying, the army went and took away the fetish or whatever, not fetish, the bante worn by Amotekun. Who gave them the right to do so? Why? What is it? They're trying to protect the people. Why take it away? And it's the same thing here. It is exactly the same thing. It says here, and it says here, I make reference to their mystic system and their war fetish warfare protection, which they pretend not to want to abandon. And you must do everything in your power to make it disappear. Look. Oh. It's the same plan. There is no difference. No difference. I just told you now about the men Amotekun. They were almost fighting. They said, why are you taking away my bante? It's nothing to do with you. We are protecting our people and we will use whatever means. But they are taking it away from them. And they again, the reference point for that is back in this in what happened in the Berlin conference. I'm telling you, these are facts that we should all be scrutinizing and sharing to our people. Does it make sense to you all as you're seeing this? Are you seeing the connection? Because this is what that happened then, and this is what is being done by the Fulanis right now. They are afraid that we have those belief systems. So what do? They remove it from us so that we cannot use it, and they want to completely. It's the same. There's no difference. Words. Now let me. I mean, I just wanted to just think about what I just said. Two things now. So they want us to completely, happy are the poor, for they will inherit heaven. Do everything to try and these are the same thing, and we're standing here looking. Share, please share this to as many people as possible. We need to really this is what is going on right now. Now, let's now let's read more. So the Pastor Adebayos and everything is there. You know what is even worse about it? The Pastor Adebayos and the Oyerekpos and everything else. They are doing exactly what these guys have put in plan. And they... Okay, I'll come back here. Now, so now, let us now do one more thing. Let me do one more thing now. So I'm going to carry on with this a little bit, just so we can get a bit of traction. Convert always the blacks by using the whip. Keep their women in 9 months of submission to work freely for us. Force them to pay you in sign of recognition, goats, chickens, eggs, every time you visit their villages. And make sure that the N-word never become rich. Sing every day that it's impossible for the rich to enter heaven. Make them pay tax each week at Sunday Mass. So what you call tidings, make them pay tax each week at Sunday Mass. So when you think you are giving and you're giving tithe, it's a tax, it's a form of tax. Use the supposed money for the poor to build flourishing business center. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but this is deadly serious. You can see everything that is happening on ground is what I'm showing you. Everything that I'm showing you is what is happening on ground in Nigeria right now. The church is a business. Okay. institute a confessional system which allows you to be good detective denouncing any black that has different consciousness contrary to the decision maker. So if you have anybody that's contrary to this, they make them to be they're denounced, publicly denounced, to shame them. Teach the end to forget their heroes and adore only ours. My people, are you seeing all of this? Is it making sense? Is this making sense? We have been told to. How many people remember Obatala? How many people remember Shango? How many people remember Yemoja? How many? But we are remembering the one they keep telling us to remember. They are Jesus. Ha. Now, never present a chair to black man that comes to visit you. Don't give him more than one cigarette. Never invite him for dinner, even if he gives you a chicken every time you arrive at his house. Now, so anyway, that's based on that religious stuff, belief system. Now, under King Leopold, 10 to 15 million Africans you know, were killed. You know, they cut off the limbs of Africans if they didn't fulfill their quota. You know, to make up for the low production of troops began to use hands as currency, chopping off chopping them as was a way of punishing workers who did not fulfill their quotas, and at the same time served to show that soldiers were doing their part in exacting pressure over local population to ensure fulfillment of the quotas. Keep in mind, these are the same people for you telling you to believe in Jesus, in religion, in Christianity. They are the same ones cutting their arms off. Same ones, though. Keep in mind, though. Same ones, though. The same ones, though. Now, look at that. Out of all Belgian shapes of chocolate sold, the most popular shape is the severed hand. Many are unaware of the connection between the cut hands and the inhuman treatment of Africans by colonials, including Belgians. These are things you go and buy. Oh, yes, Belgian chocolate. Where does chocolate come from? We all eat it, but where does it come from? Now we understand it's come from Africa, doesn't it? Now, let me. How am I doing for time? I need to. Is it 1? Okay, 2 o'clock. So now, I just want to just put there. I'll come back to the other one there. I need to make a change, subtle change to something here that I wrote. Make sure. Killed. So let me just check. I make a change in 1 second, please, because I wrote something there. And I want to make it sense. It makes sense. Okay, now. So now, there's. I hope this is making sense to as many of you as possible. And now, the above plan came out in the most bizarre manner. The above speech, which shows the real intention of the Christian missionary journey in Africa, was exposed to the world by Mr. Mokwani Bukoko, born in Congo 1915, who in 1935, while working in Congo, bought a second-hand Bible from a Belgian priest who forgot the speech in the Bible, Dr. Chidoze Okoro. They forgot those words in the Bible. Oh man. I'm showing you all of this. It's not, I just want us to understand why we need to go for self determination. All of this is a tool. They used words in the Bible to make you believe that you do not believe. For you, they don't want you to connect with the riches in your soil. They believe the riches belongs to them, not you. The person whom your ancestors were, your ancestors bequeathed you that land. Right. Anyway, and that's what the Fulanis are trying to continue now. Going further, somebody talked about the Benin Kingdom earlier on. Somebody talked about Benin Kingdom earlier. Let's talk about that. Going further, in 1897, the British destroyed the Benin Kingdom and disposed the king and took away artifacts that are now in the British Museum. The expanse of the horrors inflicted on the people of Benin are in the following slides. Below are the peaks of the looting in Benin Kingdom. I'm just trying to, this is all about the business of exploiting our resources. So let's carry on. Here's an excerpt of the horrors inflicted on the people of Benin in the so-called Benin Expedition 1897. Elspeth Huxley spent some time researching in Benin in 1954 and wrote, "To hear an account of the Benin massacre of 1897 and a sequel from one who had taken part, it is a story that still has power to amaze and horrify, as well as to remind us that the British had motives for pushing into Africa other than the intention to exploit the natives and glorify themselves." Here, for instance, some extracts of the diary, Sojourn, who took part in the expedition. As we neared Benin City, we passed several human sacrifices, like women gagged, pegged in their heads around the back. Caught the poor women. Let me see. I'm trying to. I'm trying to see. Let me see. Now, this is what they wrote about what they saw. But oftentimes, how many people see? They try to use this as a justification. They try to use the words here as a justification for oppressing and taking over. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And there's no justification for taking over a land and then using our resources and not paying us for what is ours. No. So now, let us and again and over again, these kind of words are things you need to take with pinch of salt, because sometimes when people are trying to write something, they will write something to favor themselves, and it's important we understand that. Now, let's go here. War crimes committed during the Benin expedition in 1997. It says here, a second expert, Herbert Walker, a soldier serving in the punitive expedition, believed that the human sacrifices were an attempt by Benin representatives to appease the gods as they tried to defend themselves from the expedition. Historian Dan Hicks has described punitive expedition actions during their push to Benin as democidal, claiming that it involved massacres of towns and villages from the air and thus women and children across the whole of Benin Kingdom, scorching the earth with rockets, fire, and mines. Primary among those war crimes was the scale of killing and bombings of civilian targets. This is not something you will hear anybody speak about. You won't hear them speak about this. They massacred towns and villages from the air, women and children across the whole Benin Kingdom. But these are things that you won't get to hear about. And we need to do our research collectively. This and this is more justification of why we have to go for self-determination. This is not about hate, but putting out the facts as they are and exposing this. You can see it there. With rockets, fire and mines. Primary among the war crimes was the scale of the killing and bombing of civilian targets. But these are things that you will not hear anywhere else. Now, late Oba Atokpae, may you rest well in with our ancestors, So, now we Ovar Ramwen, Oba Benin, it was illegally deposed and they destroyed and its kingdom destroyed by colonials in 1897, 2 years after the signing of the truly sickening treaty at the Berlin Conference. This is, they finished the Berlin Conference in 1885, and by 2 years, they went in and destroyed his kingdom. And I'm just giving us history here now. And here are the pictures of what in old time looters, common Reginald, you know, these are pictures of destruction. These are stuff that they sit on. Now, at one point, the tusk that you see there, some of the tusks, they were valued at £2 million. At one point, I don't have the figures now, but I had it somewhere and I can't find it. These are things that that happened, and people tell us to just pray, pray, and our ancestors, you know, he said yes, thank you, yes. So, you know, this is these are things that we need to really talk about openly and honestly among ourselves to enlighten our children. Again, look, all of this stuff, everything I showed you here is in the British Museum. I have been to see this in the British Museum. I would go back there one day and I'm going to do a live broadcast from there. These are things that they are still to this day, they are in the British Museum. Everything you see there, except for maybe one or two that have been reported on, but many parts. So the last peak is the hanging up for display what was released from sovereign country based on dismantlement of Africa and the nations as stated in 1884 Berlin Conference. These arts must be returned. So we need to ask for our things back. And I've not even talked about the ones that have taken from Yoruba land. Ongoing extortion. So let me put this here. So let's put this here. Ongoing extortion by colonials, France in particular. Also, we must point out that following the carve-up of Africa, even today, 14 African countries are paying colonial tax to the tune of $500 billion to France for colonial tax, a ridiculous and totally unacceptable action. It disregards the right of Africans to freedom. Worse still, Africa has forced the former colonies, and they can destabilize these colonies if the fields in interest are not being predicted. They are being forced to pay them colonial tax. 14 African countries are obliged to by France through a colonial pact to put 85% of the foreign reserve into France central bank under the French Minister of Finance control until now. 2014 and about 13 other countries, Togo and about 14 about 13 other countries still have to pay colonial tax debt to France. So where is Africa free in all of this? They're talking about independence. What independence are we talking about? This is a lie. This is a lie. We need to really explain this to ourselves until we understand the steps that we must take collectively. And again, it's all about understanding that what is happening in countries in Nigeria now is a recolonization by the Fulanese, probably in coordination with one of the colonial powers, most likely. Now, here we go. So the Berlin Conference is negatively has impacted Africa till date. Africans are being illegally detained at the insistence of colonial powers who oppress us till date. Enough is enough. So this guy here, Kemi Seba, is a well-known guy and is really anti-CFA currency, and he's been jailed so many times. And he talks about this, and it's raised awareness. And believe you me, we are all connected in this oppression. We were all collectively oppressed in our land, and we need to work together. The fact and they make you believe, oh, because they speak French, they're not part of us. This is all. We are all Africans. They don't see us as we're Europeans or we're French speaking or English speaking. They see us as Africans, whereas we see ourselves as they speak French, they speak English. That is all part of the tools of division. Now, the case for reparations to be paid, artifact returned, and interest paid on African funds looted proven without doubt. The above are evidence of what was done to dehumanize Africans and prevent Africans from knowing their true value the true value of the resources they possess. On the basis of the above, many more atrocities committed on African soil under the Berlin Conference Agreement, not documented here, but widely available on the web and in the books. African Union and African people must demand for reparations for the illegal occupation of several sovereign land and the dismantlement of African land and nations by 14 European countries listed earlier in this article. So I think you can see, exactly, Michael Joseph. I like that statement. Africans, the kingdom of heaven is within us, not sky. Thank you. You know, exactly. Mali being the one to escape just recently. So I don't know how else to explain this. I hope this has made things clear in a bit of in a lot of ways, in a lot of ways. But the thing is here, I hope the message that is here is for us to really understand that the same thing that was done in 1884 is what the Fulanis are trying to do now with this block here. Because it's the same thing. It's like sticking a pole in the ground and saying, this land now is no longer yours. It is mine because I now make it Nigeria. And Nigeria is not our ancestral name. Yoruba land is our ancestral name. And we must go back to that. We need to reclaim that. Because if you claim Nigeria, they are taking away our land from us and they're putting, Fulanis are killing us in our own land. That's not a hate speech, it's a fact. They are bringing in Fulanis, giving them guns to attack us. They are taking away the charms that our people use to protect themselves. The army. And many people forget that the army is populated by Fulanis. I just want us to be very aware of what I'm stating here. And hopefully it can inform our decision making. The churches and everything, they used it. They used that religion to oppress, and it's still being used to oppress and suppress us till today. They tell you, oh, they only believe in Christ, but the churches are working with industries. But when they talk to you as African, no, 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 no. You have to be holy. You have to pray. They don't want us to have anything to do with development of any kind. It's time we stop allowing ourselves to be treated like children in our own land. An European will come from Europe to Africa, and we've been brainwashed to say they are experts. Europeans can travel anywhere in Africa. They won't have any restrictions. But as an African in Africa, to travel from one place to another, there's so many restrictions. Why is that? And what still, when you to come to say, okay, you're trying to escape from the misery they created, there's severe restrictions on you, and they're sending them back to Rwanda. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? We need to be aware of things. These are things that I want us to really think about. And please, let us please share this broadcast and reach more people. And please, I do urge you all I thank those of you who have sent stars on Facebook to Citizen AY. Thank you very much. If you if you feel this resonates with you, many of you, as you are watching, of course you can always send more stars. It helps us to be able to do more research. A lot of the work that we do here, it involves a lot of research that we do behind the scenes to inform and bring things to our attention, so that we're all aware collectively of why we have to go for self-determination. So this information here that you're seeing, I hope you found it beneficial. And I hope now you are informed about why we are behaving in particular ways. One of the things that I've really understood is that when we think that we are being African, many people have associated being African with being religious. And that is so further from the truth. Let me say that again. Many Africans have associated being religious with being African. The more religious you are, the more brainwashed you are. I'm sorry to say this. I'm sorry, and I have people, and I'm saying, if you're on the African soil, the more religious you are, the more brainwashed you are. Because the things that they're showing you in that religion that you are focused, getting you to focus your mind on, are things that are going to keep you oppressed and suppressed in your land. Our children, they say, oh, don't touch the soil. Don't make your feet dirty. Oh, the Christ, you shouldn't get dirty. But then that dirt is the gold. In that dirt is the gold, is the silver, is the diamond, is the oil in that dirt. These are things cleverly done to make us turn away from what we have. I want us to know that many of what the West look at as their as a basis for their economic system comes from Africa. It does. It does. It simply does. All of the untold resources, the fertile land. But many of us are not connecting the dot. We are busy believing in the lies. It is time we woke up as people collectively to free ourselves. No one person can do this. Again, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of it can stop at the time. How long must they kill our prophets? Whilst we stand aside and look, whoa. Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing this song of freedom? Is all I ever hear. Oh yeah, redemption song. This song of freedom is all I ever hear. Oh yeah, redemption song. Each one must teach one. We need to awaken ourselves from this enslavement. And we're about to be recolonized again if we do not take collective action together to go for self-determination, Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, Middle Belt. In fact, I even go to say that those three areas, Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, Middle Belt, we are the key to free the whole of Africa. Because once we reconnect back to our true self as Yorubas, as Igbos, as Middle Belt, that will cascade across the whole of Africa and our ancestral kingdoms will be rebirth. It will arise as the phoenix out of the ashes. And we can do this. We don't need any religion to build Africa. We don't need any foreign religion. We need to go and connect with our ancestors. They're the ones who gave us the land full of all of these amazing resources that we can use to improve our lives. It's time to start working together to build this. So I call on my Biafran brothers and my Oduduwa brothers, my Middle Belt brothers. We need to work together and go for self-determination. Nigeria is a fraud. Nigeria is a fraud, and we need to ensure that we dismantle it. It is being built on our ancestors, and we need to remember our ancestors and call on them and bring them back in us, and so that we can rebirth a beautiful Yoruba land. Reconnect all of Yoruba land, reconnect all of Biafra, reconnect Benin. It's time. The time is now. We can do this. Anyway, that's me done for now. I'll be back in about an hour or so. I just wanted to do one or two things. I wanted to just really bring this to your attention. I hope people can reconnect to this. But please, the picture that you see there, it's to make us understand that the attempts being done by putting this brick in the floor is again a way to establish and say, oh, we are recolonizing. And the people, Nigeria, you need to understand that Nigeria is not, the Nigeria that they are building is for Fulanis, not for indigenous people. They are killing indigenous people. And it's time we defend ourselves. Again, I want to take this opportunity to call on all indigenous people. You have the right to defend yourself in your land. Please set up form community action plan against terrorism in your community. It's good when if go and speak to your governors, demand that they allow you to have guns to protect yourself in your community. If they're not protecting you. Governor Autumn has actually signed a vigilante law enacted is amended a vigilante law, And now the people of Benue can be allowed to be armed to protect themselves and their community. Every other governor must do the same thing. We want more governors. I think one other governor has done that. So safety and security. The Fulanis are all over in Lagos and everywhere, and they're waiting for a signal. My Lafia said it. By August, a civil war will begin. That's their plan. We need to stand steadfast and make sure that we don't let this happen. So, what I'd just like to say is, I hope you found it beneficial. If you have, please subscribe. Thank you for those who are giving us stars. If you give us stars, if we appreciate that, and also subscribe to us. Become a member of Citizen AY on YouTube, because I need other people to be able to join us and have more discussion and research on the work we'll be doing. So please, let's continue to enlighten ourselves collectively. No one person can free us. We need to do this collectively. I thank you all so much for joining us. I hope you found this beneficial. If you did, and or if you do, and if you, for those of you going to watch it later on, share it. It's important we raise the level of awareness, and we have every right to go for self-determination. Recognition is the next step now. Yoruba Nation is here to stay. Biafra Nation is here to stay. Middle Belt Nation is here to stay. So I thank you all very much. Thank you for watching. You're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. What I will do right now is to sing the Yoruba National Anthem. Thank you very much, Femi Adeola Dasaolu. Thank you again. And those of you who made your wonderful comments, I appreciate you. Each and every one of us. Don't forget, you have a role to play in this struggle. You are watching me. You can set up, if you're in diaspora, set up your own platform and talk about the knowledge that you can. We need as many knowledge to be put together to weaken our people up. And we must do that collectively. So we all have a role to play. The least you can do, those of you watching, is to share this broadcast. Share it as many times, make people aware, and the key points that have been raised that are raised in here. What you see there is what you're seeing in there is that flag is a way to stick it in the ground again, like an attempt to recolonize Nigeria in the name of the Fulanese. That's what it is, to the exclusion of us indigenous people. So I thank you for watching. You're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. For now, I'll say, let me just sing the song before I go, the Yoruba national anthem before I go. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, fún ilẹ̀ ìbí wa, ká gbéga, ká gbéga, ká gbéga fárírí. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé bá ti bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká jọlá. Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lépa. Tẹ̀síwájú fọ́pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde, bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you found this beneficial. Please do share the broadcast. And again, thanks to all of you who have given stars. If you can, if you want to become a member of the Oduduwa TV Citizen AY on YouTube, please go ahead and do so. Subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube and Oduduwa TV Radio as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back later on. Just do one more thing to do before we wrap it up. I want to say thank you so much. Thanks for watching. And I'll be back later on. Thank you and goodbye. Bye for now. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. I just don't know. Oh, what happened there? Okay. I don't know what happened there. Yes, sorry. Okay. So anyway, thank you so much. I'll be back later on. Thank you and goodbye for now.